Hey everybody, welcome back. We're at Paper Studios right here, and we're about to say hi to everybody, including an adorable puppy face. Puppies are very important for art, aren't they? Aw.
We say
How's it
that
going?
this is our studio assistant, Louie.
Studio assistant Louie.
Yes.
How
Sorry.
adorable.
Yep. He's very enthusiastic, which is great.
As we all are. Art's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Hey, so for new viewers out there,
yes.
why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you're all about.
Okay. No problem. So I'm Tiffany Dae. I'm a painter here at Equinox Studios. I am a transplant of the Georgetown Atelier. I studied there as a student, and then now I'm an instructor. I know, it's Sam Morgan. How sweet. Yeah. So I very much love that community, and I love that I can kind of be part of both Equinox and Gage as a member.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's kind of the background of it. I specifically paint oil paintings, and I would say that you could qualify or categorize them, if you will, as imaginative realism, which I suppose you could also say magical realism or magical or fantastical or many, many other things. Sure. Within the art realm, that's so difficult to sort of say, but they oftentimes have a fantastical kind of quality to them. Whimsical is often as well.
Very
and nice. Yeah. The main thing that I think I'm trying to achieve when I'm painting them or composing them is something that I said last time, which was I'm chasing curiosity. So oftentimes I think that they're asking questions. And I don't necessarily know that any of them will ever have answers to those questions. And I think that that's one of the best things about questions that are really good questions, is there isn't really an answer to them. And so I think for this time, I wanted to show you that I have a finished painting that I've just done that you only saw the underpainting to last time. And so we'll come over here. So that's this piece. And it was all just pink underpainting last time. And so it's of a local model here. And we're actually doing a shoot for something that was a totally different piece that was going to be about the fates and whether or not they existed. And that's asking about fate in general. But it was going to be like a three-person giant sort of epic painting in that regard. And then I just was looking through, we went out to Vashon Island and we shot pictures, and I was looking through them, and one of them had this expression, I had to zoom in quite far, and it was just so painful because I wanted the fates piece to sort of reflect the chaos of the times when it's asking the question about, is it fate that this is happening? It's why? It's really the underlying question to all of that, right? And so I don't know, it was something about her expression. And I think it was because I was asking her to think about all of the things that were happening at the moment. And it was just one of those things where it's that's a painting, right? That moment you see that image, it's inspiration has hit, that's a postcard flash in your head, light bulbs are going off. And yeah, absolutely. I was really, it was in the time that I had zoomed in on this picture, it was a couple of days until the painting underpainting stage. And so yeah, I'm calling it Sad Eyes, and I think I really wanted to paint it big. I even considered doing it bigger than this. Like I told you guys last time too, is that I had done one that was portrait, and that was so painful. And then this was the opposite side, and I had never painted something this large.
Oh, wow.
And so that was really, really fun to do. But I wanted you to not be able to ignore her. Sometimes I think we can shy away from the pain of things, and you can kind of easily just disassociate almost. And so I wanted it to be nope, you're here and you're sitting with her, and we're kind of empathizing, and we're asking her why, and things. So that's kind of this particular piece. It's got some gold leafing along the edge that is a little messy at the moment, so I'm going to kind of clean that up. But it's actually headed to a gallery in Colorado called A Bend, and so they're having a figurative show in January. So it's going to go to them. So I'm really happy.
Amazing.
this like feels like an accomplishment.
Yeah, from start to finish. That's
Absolutely.
great. No, I like it a lot. It definitely, it's like you're about to have a conversation. She's got a lot to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that. I'm as a woman, I have a lot to say. So I'm very happy when other women do too, because I think some of the most meaningful conversations come from those people who aren't given the opportunity to speak quite often, and so
Absolutely.
hooray for that. I think that's probably an underlying thing with a lot of my work. I do paint a lot of women in general. And so I think, actually even these two pieces over here, they're almost like so there's 3 up on the wall, but these 2 that are on the left are of these 2 women, and the questions that those 2 are asking specifically are about the ideal when it comes to women and beauty. And they're almost on opposite ends of the spectrum. One of them has like this editorial, like high fashion kind of feel.
For sure.
And then the other one feels almost like more traditional, like goddess kind of feeling. But what I love about it is that there's like underlying concepts underneath the 2 of them. So like this editorial one, she's like literally wasting away, and she's so thin, her dress is like hanging on her, and there's like garbage underneath the dress as well, that it's just like,
notice that.
There's so many things that it's like, just because it looks like it's the ideal now, there's like underlying things that are like quite wrong or alarm bells. And then this other one that is like, it's very traditionally beautiful, but what I loved about it was that it's a collaboration, and that I didn't take a photo for it. It's, some of these I don't do, and some of these I do locally, but for this particular piece, it was this art model, Shannon, that I follow her on Instagram, and she just had these beautiful poses of her, and she's like, I think in her late 40s, early 50s, but she's also a plus size woman. And so she just like takes all of these amazing self-portrait photos. And it was like, wow, no one really paints her as the like traditional beauty, right? It's always like a very young maiden. It's like specifically, kind of yeah, exactly. Like we all can picture that beauty. Like even the Botticelli's Venus is that exact portrayal, right? And so this was my way of showing that like a woman that is older, that is like gorgeous and also plus size, can be this like goddess. And so celebrating that as well in sort of opposition to what the beauty is in so many ways. And so
for sure,
I think, yeah, the pieces for me I do a lot of planning, and they have a lot of concept underneath. I'm not quite the let's see what happens.
Right.
I very much know what I'm going to be painting as soon as I sort of get into it. But
definitely. Well, I mean, great ideas. It's all turning
out
really well. For sure.
Yeah. And then that piece on the right is called Burning, but I really think it should have just been like called 2020. Yeah.
Well, with the sort of 2 extremes of beauty, but 2 ends of beauty. I like that. With the one, the face is obscured or kind of, you said wasting away, the whole thing's wasting, but you can't connect with the person. It's not as real. She's not as real. She doesn't really have like a exact face. And then the other, you're looking into, the faces, eyes as a window of the soul, the kind of things. That's a nice juxtaposition as well.
Absolutely. And I think there's something to be said about the female gaze as well, and like versus the male gaze in art. I think that that's a conversation that's so interesting, that traditionally the male gaze is the thing that has been celebrated. And then when it comes to even the amount of work of men in museums over time as like a historical collection of this is what we value, it's mainly work that is been done from the male perspective. And it's like 2%-ish, of museum work is done by women, even in the last like 100 years. It's insane to me. This is not, this is also modern times. I think it's the Baltimore Museum of Art that actually decided they were going to take a year and only accept women into their new collection, because they were like trying to figure out how to tip the scales. And I think that a lot of that is because we're still valuing the male gaze, right? In terms of it's like there's more women painters out there than there are men, but we value the male gaze more. So there's like that disparity in terms of the celebration of the work. And so I think her interacting with you, like it can feel like that pose can be really like come hither almost in a way, because it's like you're really seeing a lot of her body, but it's like there's nothing that's necessarily like sexual about it. It's like a
For
power in her own body. And there's something about that I think is really worth exploring too, you know, because you could very easily over sexualize that pose in like different ways, right?
For sure.
But just because a woman is posed in that way doesn't mean it has to be sexual, and even understanding sort of that subtlety and difference, I think, is cool.
Definitely.
I have a lot to say, like I said.
Yeah, no,
we could have a lot of like tea and hang out.
For sure. And well, I don't know, if this were a different year, there would be a few thousand people here. We wouldn't have time for tea, but
we certainly have wine at those events. And then I talk even more than I do.
Next year, we'll put it on the calendar for sure. And then tell me what Kay's looking over at some of your smaller portraits, and it looks like you've got some like little purses or bags and some other stuff. We've got your information on the screen, as we do, and I assume at least some of this stuff is for sale, but tell me about what you've got going on.
Sure, yeah, we wanted to show the different types of merch that we normally do. So this is basically what our setup would be like during the regular event. So we have tote bags that are, all of this is on the website, so just tiffanydae.com/shop. And we have tote bags, we have like little pencil bags or makeup bags. We've got, back here we have canvas prints that are very close to the original, but they're limited edition, so they come framed, and we'll only make 100 of those, like in that particular style. Or if those are too expensive, you know, so if you want something kind of in between an original and a paper print, those are a good option. And then we have regular paper prints that are over here by Kay that are
very nice,
that are on like an archival matte paper that are done by the Color Group, that's like a local print shop. So yeah, that's something. I really hate that art is a luxury item. It's one of the things that hurts me most, because I am a very normal person and I don't necessarily want to cater to people whom are very wealthy, you know, exclusively. That's something that I think is really kind of tragic, because I know a lot of people have said their phrase to me, like, I don't get art, or like, I don't know how anything about art. And it's like, I'm normal, you know, I'm making art for you. If you have eyes, like that is the extension of the like prerequisites, you know. It's like we all have a visual language. Like if you like movies, then like you're gonna get something, you know. It's like you can feel anything sort of from it. And anything that I have, all of my like underlying concepts in the work, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you have to take away from it. Like I've definitely painted things, and then the person that has bought the painting has been like, nope, none of that is true for me. So I'm going to take it for this totally separate reason. And it's like a
whole other dialogue about what they see in it. That's
exactly. And it just means that it's relating to them on some other way. And that's amazing. You know, that's incredible to me. And coolest things is like that connection that you make with that person. And so that is actually the reason that I started painting, was that when I actually started painting shoes when I was in college, like canvas shoes, like to help me pay for my dorm. And so I would just like take custom designs from that, and then I would just like edit them a little bit, you know, and spruce them up a little with acrylic. And it was just like when you present the shoe to that person, like you've just pushed their idea just slightly, and then they're like, what, you know. And so that was the first time I ever felt a connection through artwork with someone. And it was like, oh, you know, and then addicted from that one. And now we're 8 years later or something, and it's like, okay.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's kind of we're just doing it on a larger scale now. It's really,
I dig it. For sure.
Yeah.
He's looking at.
Yeah,
all those are great. The print quality is really good. It's cool that they come framed. That's something I always, you know, I buy like some of the smaller prints because like you're saying, you know, as a regular person, it's kind of all I can afford sometimes, and then I have to go and think about that too and whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's, you know, that's nice.
Totally.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that's like one of the things is that we actually do payment plans for most of our paintings as well. Cool. Is that it's like for our originals in particular, it's that like these are thousands of dollars. Like I do not, you know, have that sitting around in my particular bank account to drop on art at any moment. So it's like we have a payment plan that we have like a contract, and it's 3 years, and you just have to pay it off within 3 years. But like no other real specifications. So it's kind of like trying to be as flexible as possible with a person, because again, I don't want to create any barriers. You can't have something that they've really connected to, right? Because the connection is kind of the point.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
my ultimate goal is that I have a Patreon page, and it's $3 a month to subscribe to that. And then, oh yeah, cool, absolutely. So it's like that, and then I give away something every single month. And my goal is that like one day that would become enough that I would be able to just give all my paintings away to the patrons, because it's like I'm not super here to like have paintings that no one can afford. You know, I really would like to have the connection, and then it's just like, oh, but the living expenses, you know, like those pesky things. If we could cover those, you know, but then with the crowdsourcing, it really makes it affordable, that it's like I've given away a couple of oil paintings on there that were hundreds of dollars, and then the person that won had to pay $3, you know, or like even over the course of a year, they're paying what, like, please don't make me do 52 times 3. I can't do that. It's 150 something ish, right? Yeah, in that neighborhood. But even so, right? And so that's kind of the goal, if I could dare to dream so boldly.
Definitely. No, I agree.
Sir, can I borrow your mic for just 1 second?
So Tabasco wants to buy a bunch of your stuff.
Okay.
I'm getting little messages about we should buy this thing. But we also want to give a shout out to you, Tiffany Dae. Tiffany did the blue bordering around all the screens you've been seeing tonight. And it was a huge help.
Well,
and so we want to just give a big shout out to you. Thank you for you know, putting your talents to the Equinox Studio's greater cause, because it makes a big difference. It looks really beautiful. So
that's
we just wanted to say thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's happy to help. You guys are sort of astonishing to me, all the amount of time, like you're going to do this 5 nights in a row. So I'm just like very grateful to you as well. Yeah, thank you.
We're glad to be here.
You could buy a little help from our friends.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the most beautiful things about being here. I've been here nearly 5 years now, Equinox, and it's like I never meet anybody that is like not willing to just totally put down their whole load and help you. You know, it's like really, really incredible.
For sure.
Yeah, huzzah.
It's a special place. You know, I think if I didn't come to Equinox when I moved to Seattle, shortly after I moved to Seattle, I probably wouldn't be living in Seattle now.
Right, me too. Actually, I came from Florida, and so my family lives there, and I moved with Jesus. And it was like, okay, I came to study at the Georgetown Atelier, and my plan was to move back when I was done. And then there's an Equinox studio open, and it was like, or I could teach and stay here and then buy a house for my way and then never go back to Florida. And that is what's happening now.
There you go.
Yeah, now we're expanding. There are more of us now. This is Louie.
Excited.
This is Louie's office.
Oh,
puppy.
Such cute. Amazing.
Sorry if you get all tied up. Yeah.
It's always great to be here. I love your stuff. I probably.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're for, right?
Puppy, yeah.
Man, you know, I might even look into a payment kind of thing. I really like the payment plan idea for art. You know, it makes so much sense. It's amazing that you have the idea and the capacity to work on that.
Absolutely. So. There's like, it's like it's trickier when you're showing with galleries, because a lot of times they won't offer that, but it's like,
sure.
Yeah, if I ever have the opportunity to do that, because that's the only way that I've ever been able to buy a painting, you know, and it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, all of these hang in my living room and my dining room. Like, that's how I decorate my house. Sure. It's like, they're here, you know, but it's like, that's really, I want art to be for everybody. And oftentimes people, I think the world at large doesn't often think it is. They expect to go to Target and buy like a Live Left, like we talked about the dreaded Live Left. It's like, really, when people want to decorate, they like go to a mega store and like find something there, like IKEA and everything, Marshall, right? How many times do you see all those? And it's like, but there are real people that are making things that connect with you, and you could see something that could make you feel good about yourself every day when you wake up in the morning, right? And it's like, you know, you don't do that with me. Absolutely, let's figure it out.
It's powerful, and it you know, feels better, and it will be in your home for years. That's amazing. Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's so good to talk to you. Do you have any closing words? We're gonna do a commercial from another Equinox artist, but we've got your information, we've got your makeup bags, we've got your prints, we've got your originals. It's all really great.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah,
I just have to say thank you. Yeah, just a lot of gratitude. This year has been so hard for everybody, but the support that I've been shown is really incredible, and so I'm just happy. So thanks.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Happy to have you here.
Cool.
And yeah, we can just keep looking at all the stuff forever. Do you have anything?
No.
To the commercials, Tabasco, whenever you are ready.